Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things movies. Welcome especially if you're new. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy, listening to reviews on movies or just being able to discuss them. I know, before I started up this channel, I saw way more movies than anybody I knew. And I just, wanted a place to be able to discuss them with people. So if you're here, hopefully that's you. I would, love to hear any of your thoughts on the movies that I review. But yeah, if you subscribe, that'll just allow you to stay up to speed on any of the reviews. As soon as I post them, I usually see about 2 or 3 movies a week and do a review for each one. So sometimes they're spoilers and sometimes they're non-spoilers, so it just kind of depends on the type of movie and how I'm feeling as far as how I want to talk about it. But yeah, with that, if you do enjoy this review, be sure to smash the like button. That just helps me gauge what sort of content you all enjoy and what movies I should kind of prioritize if there's more movies to see than I have time to at theater. But yeah, with that, let's get into this review. I just got back from seeing The Contractor. I actually saw a double feature today. Right before seeing The Contractor, I saw You Won't Be Alone. But we're here to talk about The Contractor. So with that, let's get into this review. And to start off, we'll just go over a brief synopsis. So in this movie, a discharged U.S. Special Forces Sergeant, James Harper, risks everything for his family when he joins a private contracting organization. My background going into this movie was pretty much non-existent. I don't think I had seen a trailer for it before I saw that it was playing in theaters this weekend. I was mainly looking forward to Morbius this weekend, but then was checking what other movies were playing and released, and this one popped up on the list. So I watched the trailer, and it actually looked like it could be pretty good. It did also come across as the movie as a type of, or that this was the type of movie that maybe wouldn't necessarily, be what I was looking for. The one that comes to mind is I forget the name of it, but the Michael B. Jordan movie that released on Amazon Prime about a year ago. That was similar genre, whereas like action, black ops sort of movie, and yeah, that one I was excited for, and it didn't really do it for me. So I had reservations going in, but it did look like it could be the type of movie that I'd enjoy. So with that, let's just get into it. I will keep this spoiler free, so I'll talk about things kind of generally and not really go into too many details, but I think we can still talk about it or discuss it to a degree here. So with that, we'll start off with the things that I liked, and at the top of the list is Chris Pine. I enjoy him as an actor. I don't know that I've seen him in anything where I didn't like him. I haven't seen him in a ton of stuff, but the stuff that I've seen, I've liked him, and I think he does a really good job of playing this character. I think he is, there's certainly a bit more that's demanded of him than your typical action hero. He definitely needs to display some emotions and that sort of thing. So I thought he did a really good job of bringing this character to life. But yeah, with that though, it definitely, with him as the lead and this being this sort of movie, it definitely reminded me of Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. Not that it was like a direct sequel to that, but since we never really got a sequel to that movie, it kind of made me feel like this was kind of like a spiritual successor to that movie, even though it is fairly different as far as like the specifics for the exact type of character that he's playing. But I did also enjoy that the stakes are real. Like, people get injured, people die. They're running dangerous ops on this in this movie, and yeah, so I appreciated that, because a lot of times you'll just see character, or like you'll see these sort of movies where it doesn't feel like they're in any real danger. Sure, some people might die, but they're basically just the extras and that sort of thing. But this one, you actually felt that the stakes were there, and that he might not make it out alive, and I'm not going to say if he did or didn't, but, that you feel that from the very first act of the movie, I'd say, or maybe it's the beginning of the second act is probably when that comes in. And then also kind of in the terms of keeping it like realistic and being invested, I liked that they actually show time for, or like the characters actually need time to recover in the film. So if they do get injured, they don't just walk it off and, you know, like Wolverine, their injuries and just like basically heal up right away. They give them the time, and the movie shows that, you know, time has passed and that sort of thing. So I did appreciate that, because that's usually a thing that you just have to be like, well, I'm going to go with it, that they're just able to keep up this level of intensity even though they just got shot or stabbed or whatever it is. I'm talking just in general with action movies. So that was refreshing to see that actually kind of handled realistically in this movie. I also liked that they didn't make the stakes huge. I won't go into what they are specifically, but it doesn't involve like nukes being launched, as is a lot of times the case with like action movies. They just want to go straight to the top of the list as far as, you know, what's the threat. But this doesn't do that. It's got something different, and I thought that was well done, and I appreciated that it wasn't just your typical, hey, there's a nuclear threat, let's take care of it. And then lastly, I thought the soundtrack was good. It wasn't like, it didn't come across as my favorite ever, but I definitely want to check it out if it's available. I'm hoping it's on Amazon Music, but yeah, we'll see. It was, from what I heard though in the film, it seemed worth the listen. So with that, we'll jump into the things that I didn't care for as much. I thought the third act was pretty weak, in my opinion. I thought the first two acts were really good, and then I thought they failed to kind of wrap it up well. It wasn't bad, but it felt just kind of rushed, and yeah, that was the main thing. It felt rushed, and maybe not as much thought put into that part, which unfortunately, like, I think the third act is almost the most important, because that's what you're leaving the theater on. So it did, I think, definitely dip as far as my enjoyment level and opinion of the movie with just how the third act played out. So yeah, not sure how much I care for how kind of flawed they make the main character insofar as how they progress the story forward, because he has a conversation with his wife where she's like very explicit about not wanting him to do the sort of work that he ends up doing. Although, I mean, to be fair, he's pretty sure it won't be dangerous, or at least he tells himself that. But she's still like, I don't really care. And they have a conversation about it, and then he just goes and does it anyway, which is like, I mean, I guess that's, yeah, people act that way, but I wasn't, yeah, I was like, it felt just kind of convenient for the sake of the story to progress it, to do it that way. And then lastly, I thought, like, there were a couple of the twists that that were predictable, at least from my point of view. I was able to see them coming. So I put those as negatives, but it did this movie definitely had a holy shit that just happened moment, which definitely that's a high positive. It's not every movie that can do that. I think the last one to do that, or at least the last one kind of similar to this, was the Kingsman, which had a similar moment where yeah, that's if you've seen the movie, you may know what I'm talking about. But yeah, those are always, I enjoy those when we can get those moments in movies. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the things that I didn't really care for as much or had mixed feelings on about the film. Overall, I thought this was a fun film. I think the third act being a little weak limits it in my ranking, so I would give it I do give it a letter grade of a B. I think if they had brought it home in the third act, it could be an A, but I think it's solidly a B for the movie. I think it's a movie that's, you know, brought to life by Chris Pine, you know, taking on the main character and getting you invested and, you know, playing a character you can root for as the story progresses, even though, you know, playing a character that gets you invested because you care about the character, even though the surrounding story is something that we've kind of seen before in other action stuff and isn't in and of itself the most original thing. So I think it's, yeah, fun movie. If you're looking for something to go see, it's not a high recommendation on my list, but I would still recommend it if you think you like this sort of, action thriller movie. I think it's worth the watch. So if you've had a chance to see The Contractor, though, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Was this, a fairly fresh take on this sort of genre? I think it was barely sort of fresh, but like I enjoyed, the main character in Chris Pine, so that's kind of what brought it higher on my list. Or was it just kind of old hat for you? Was it, stuff you've seen before and didn't really hold your interest throughout? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button. That just tells me, what sort of movies you all enjoy me reviewing. And if you enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next review. But with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.